when you started Chaayos, right? So were you worried that log Chaiwala kahenge?
Chai is something which is available for free inside office. Why would somebody come down in their
There's
office
no moat in
building?
chai.
People said that, the chai in the tapri is for 6 rupees only. Why would anybody pay 35, 40 rupees? That's what it was back then. So why would somebody pay that kind of money? When we went and spoke to potential consumers, what they told us is that it is my ideal chai if I get that in the right ambience. Then I would definitely come for it. So someone would say मुझे तो ज़्यादा दूध वाली चाय अच्छी लगती है. Someone would say I want a Kadak chai. Someone will say I want adrak tulsi. Someone will say I want elaichi without sugar. Right? So there was no one size fits all chai which everybody loved. So we said that personalization of chai has to be the core of what we create.
Hi, this is Siddhartha and welcome to the Neon Show. Most startups, if not all, are looking to solve a problem faced by the majority. Our guest looked to do just that in 2012. In a country where chai is consumed at 30 times the rate of coffee, his co-founder and him recognized the untapped potential of the chai market. The rest, as they say, is history. Today, the company is reportedly valued at 2,000 crores. A warm welcome to Chaayos founder Raghav Verma on the Neon Show. I would also like to thank our sponsors, Prime Venture Partners, for sponsoring the Neon Show. Hope you enjoy it. Hi, this is Siddhartha Aluwalia. Welcome to the Neon Show. Today I have with me Raghav Verma, founder of Chaayos. Raghav, just to give you a background, when Nansi and I started dating in 2016, and not enough funded, and Nansi just graduated. So we had a budget of 400, 500 rupees, and we said we will not go to parks. It is indecent. And we needed to find a decent place, right? Like in the center of the city. So I thought we started going to Chaayos. I think back then Chaayos brand was just getting built.
Yeah.
2015, 16.
15, yes.
Kind of time frame. So our first location became the Chaayos in Connaught Place. Yeah. My office, we had taken a co-working called Innovate.
Okay.
So it was very near to that. And the second location became the Chaayos opposite IIT.
Yeah.
In the horse cars market.
SDA, yes.
Yeah. And we had lesser budget than we used to go to Sakti tea stall.
Yeah, that was my regular in college.
So I remember the area around IIT because I myself graduated did my bachelor's master's in 2011. And 2008 I was interning at IIT. So I was staying inside IIT. It was like December winters. And Sassi became the favorite. At that point in time. So moving forward, 2015-16 time frame, right? So our orders was also fixed, right? One desi chai, which we both used to share, one bun maska and one Maggi. And I think it was bun Maggi back then. Yeah, I remember.
Correct.
Right. It's been a wonderful journey, right? Yeah. How people have their emotions associated, their life built around, like for us, right? Chaayos. Now, in this we are now based in Bangalore. In this trip to Delhi, we made sure that we are visiting all those places, our memories, right? Yeah. Once we both are we built a life around. And as entrepreneurs, I was talking about, right? I yesterday met Vinay from Stage, earlier Witty Feed. And he shared his journey, right, as a founder, when you come from a background of less resources. Right? His first startup, Witty Feed, was a cracking success in media, right? They reached the 40 CR revenue mark very quickly, in 4 to 5 years of the journey, bootstrapped, profitable, all the check marks. And one day Facebook shut them down because of Cambridge Analytica. And from there on till the next 1 year, right, it was a phase of severe depression. He went into severe depression. He shared, right, the podcast, how he sought help from therapists. And it's a tough journey that founders go through. Absolutely. Right. You started yourself in 2012. Yeah. Right. Your first startup was a test prep startup. Nobody knows about it. You then pivoted in 2013 to share about your journey of building Chaayos and even the journey before that. You're growing up, which city you grew up in, your parents.
Yeah. So my dad was in the railways. I am born in Jhansi.
Wow.
But at the age
at the border of UP and MP.
At the age of 3 years old, we moved to Bombay.
Okay.
And I pretty much grew up in Bombay. So about 15
South
years.
Bombay or the
So we were actually had a railway colony in Kolaba.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty luxurious for a South Bombay. A lot of space, lot of facilities which you would not normally get. So yeah, I was a lot into music. So music was a very big part of growing up and also college life. I started playing the piano, Western classical. I play 4th standard.
Wow. Yeah, at 10 years.
Yeah. And I play about 7 musical instruments. And I've played in a couple of bands also.
Okay.
So music was a big part of growing up. I was preparing for IIT. I opted for both Bombay and Delhi. I ended up getting into Delhi.
What rank did you get?
I was 1,300.
Wow. In the first attempt?
In the first attempt, yes.
So you were super intelligent, I would assume, right?
I think before IIT you think of yourself as I'm the class topper and I'm the best amongst this group. And then when you get to IIT, you realize you're just average or below average because there are so many smarter people out there. I think I was like a little bit of smart and a lot more of hardworking. So
okay,
that's what helped.
So you saw your parents work hard. That's how you got this, the DNA of hard work in you.
Yeah. I would say that, yes.
Because railway is not an easy job, like as compared to
absolutely
jobs.
Yes.
Railways, people don't know, right? It's a tough role if you are in the core operation side.
Yes.
Railways, making sure that it's India's largest rail network.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Globally. Yeah. You would have traveled a lot, I assume, right, in your childhood?
I did. So I, almost every summer vacation, winter vacation, there was some new place we were going to because with the railways. Thankfully, didn't end up having to move schools and houses a lot. We spent some time in Guwahati, Northeast. We were there for some time, but pretty much it was Bombay only.
Okay, so your +2 was in
Bombay. So Bombay only. Then I had applied for both IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. I got through chemical engineering in IIT Delhi.
Bombay is much cooler, right? And like a Bombay kid, you want to stay in Bombay.
No. I think I'm actually very happy that was the time that it was growing up. The same set of people. It almost become a comfort zone that I had a good set of friends. Family was there. So for me, getting out of that comfort zone at that point of time, coming and living in hostel, I think it's one of the best things that happened at that point of time. And IIT was interesting. First semester, you're like in this group of amazingly smart, amazingly talented people. Yeah. And it's just the realization that now this was just step one. Getting here was just step one. And I think more than the academics, more than the professors, it was just being in that environment and being in the company of such talented people and such intelligent people. I think that really changes you in a way that not a lot of things do.
And from IIT, right, what triggered you into going for entrepreneurship? You could have easily gone into made a career in consulting, which is very much popular among IIT.
So I had absolutely no intention of starting up in college. My college life was actually more about bands and music than it was about even academics.
So you were among the toppers in the batch, or
no, not really. I would have been like a 80th percentile maybe. Say.
8 GPA type.
Yeah, 8 was my GPA actually.
Okay. That's pretty high.
Yeah, right? It is.
People don't get that at IIT.
Yeah, but it's not topper level. So yeah, I actually consulting was the preferred job for me.
Okay.
Appeared for all the day one interviews. Ended up getting a job on day one.
Yeah.
So I was working with this company called Opera Solutions, based out of Delhi, but had a lot of travel involved.
Okay.
So I ended up traveling to the US quite a bit.
Nice.
Worked in like your 3 months out of your first 3 months into your first job, and You get to visit New York, you get to work with American Express and
Fancy
FedEx
life.
and all. Yeah,
Right,
it was
that you
completely, completely fancy life. And, you're living on client expenses and
5 stars.
yeah. So
Maybe business class on a few times.
not that level. But like, yeah, service apartments, you get to eat at all the fancy places. I think lots to learn and a great life. And I had this thought that if I was to do a regular job, then I would want to live in a city like a New York, because there's just so much to do, and be it music or food or museums, culture.
From your environment.
Yeah. But somewhere, year and a half into this, there was a realization that there's a complacency coming in, and I was hearing at that point of time, say, Zomato was coming up, Flipkart was coming up.
IIT was a mecca of startup, right?
Yeah.
2008, Sachin Bansal, Binny Bansal
correct.
launched Flipkart.
Correct.
I think right out of 1 or 2 years of their job. Then Dipinder Goyal started. Right?
Correct.
So I think entrepreneurship would have been the buzz of the town, at least
it was
your batch.
Yes, correct. So all of these people are like one or two batches senior to me. So I think at that point of time there was that realization that I'm getting complacent. If there's any good time for me to actually do this, there could not be a better time than now. Lesser responsibilities. I've got some learning out of my first job.
24.
Yeah, 24 at that time. Yeah. So got some good learnings out of my first job, have this exposure. And, it was, at least I had that comfort that, even if I was to do something and it doesn't work out, I can always get back to this life.
But your parents come from a government job background, right? So they would have preferred you to stay in a job, at least build career.
Absolutely. No, but parents were very supportive.
What was your
with
father
that.
saying to you at that point in time?
No, I think they were very supportive. The first time they were like, "ठीक है, मतलब you have to own your decisions."
Yeah.
So we actually quit our jobs, like me and 3 other friends. We quit our jobs. We didn't have anything in hand.
Okay.
We didn't even have an idea, because it was impossible to do the office job and the
Consulting is tough and
consulting is crazy hard. So we said, "Chalo, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll go." So we were meeting a lot of people. Ended up realizing that people are so open when you are an entrepreneur, and even at that time when startups weren't that big. Any big company CEO, anybody is willing to like make time for you, that you're a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think the ecosystem is really nice that way. It's become even better now with the kind of ecosystem, the way it's grown.
Back then, getting time of Dipinder or Sachin Binny wouldn't have been so difficult. Did you meet them before?
No, I actually didn't meet either of them. But we used to visit some startup events, and had connected with some entrepreneurs, ended up going and meeting them.
And your base was Delhi?
Base was Delhi only, yes.
Were you staying in the hostel?
No. My parents had actually moved to Delhi at that time, so I was at home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we started to look around, exploring different areas.
Yeah.
So we were visiting some conference someday, meeting up, reading up a lot. And we realized, so the motivation for us was that we want to create impact, and we want to do something that's big.
Yeah.
And education seemed like a very interesting space for us.
EdTech was, I think, just coming up.
So there was EduComp at that time.
Yes.
That was the only EdTech really.
The poster boy with public.
Yeah. So we were researching what is happening in the US and all that. There was a lot of adaptive learning happening, lot of video content. Coursera and all were coming up at that point of time. Yeah. So we said, look, there is something interesting which can be made in the education space, and this is a very big space. So started to build for that. We picked up, we kind of aligned our vision with, democratizing good quality of education, giving access to the best teachers. And we said that a good starting point would be, IIT, JEE, something we understand, that'll be a good starting point. So we started to partner with teachers, working on like revenue sharing arrangements with them, built a pretty decent product. went to market and then realized that, we are just a little too ahead of our time right now. And
customers were not coming up.
So we made a pretty fundamental mistake in which we said that, the customer is paying 2 lakh rupees for an offline coaching class, but they're not getting personalized attention here. So we'll try to create that personalized attention through technology.
Okay.
And we'll give a great pricing. So it's a no-brainer for a customer to come, right? You built a great product. So we priced our product at about 5,000 rupees for a pretty big library of different kinds of tests. And the pitch was that you are already going to your coaching class. You come back and this is like your testing platform, which helps you identify your gaps. Realized that it's not the student who actually makes that decision.
It's the parent.
It's the parent. That's number one. The second thing is it's not the money that matters. It is the reputation of the brand that you have created. Because for us it was like it is just 5,000 rupees, but for that parent and for the student, it is every hour that is most critical. That am I investing it into the right resources with the right brand? So realize that it is going to take a bit of time for a technology-based approach
Maybe
to actually pick up
of your time by some.
Yes. And at that point of time, there was also a very big mistrust with anything on technology. So my kid is sitting on the computer, कुछ तो गड़बड़ी कर रहा होगा. So that's where we realized that we're a little ahead of our time. Difficult decision, because when you start something and you believe in it,
you get emotionally attached, super emotionally attached.
The world is telling you that this is not going to work, and you are convincing everybody that it is going to work. So taking that decision that this is not going to work out, and I can actually take a call to shut this. It's pretty difficult. So it took us about 3-4 months of debating it out, trying to figure out ye kar sakte hain, nahi kar sakte, and then finally we realized that maybe it's not the right time for this, and we took that call to shut Prep Square.
And then how did you and Nitin meet?
So me and Nitin used to work together at Opera.
Okay.
We were pretty much acquaintances only there. We had worked together
when you shut down that tech.
Yes, so he had moved on from Opera by then. We got talking, and in fact, it was a little bit of serendipity because a common friend of ours was visiting, and he had gone to meet Nitin in the morning, and then he came to meet me in the evening, and that's the day we actually took that call to shut Prep Square. And then he was saying ki, I met Nitin also. He's selling chai and poha. So Nitin had actually started off the first Chaayos cafe by then.
It was called Chaayos?
Yeah, it was called Chaayos, yes.
And where was this?
So this was Building 5, Cyber City.
Okay.
Yeah, Gurgaon only. So at that point of time, I was wrapping up there, and I went to meet Nitin ki yaar kuch karna hai. And I had always been very interested in food. I felt that as a consumer, I understand it. I am pretty interested and excited about cooking also, cooking and baking. So I was like, kuch kar sakte hain food mein. And I got in touch with Nitin. We spoke for a few months, and then I joined him, and so that was with the first store only.
And was been the chai and poha Chaayos then looks like the same Chaayos today, or it was different?
So actually pretty interesting, right? When Nitin was doing those initial customer conversations, there was an overwhelming, the industry experts and the investors who were at that point of time, they were saying ki, chai is something which is such a commodity. Chai is something which is available for free inside office. Why would somebody come down in their office building?
Chai.
People said that, the chai in the tapris for 6 rupees only. Why would anybody pay
40 rupees?
35, 40 rupees? That's what it was back then. So why would somebody pay that kind of money to get a cup of chai? And when we went and spoke to potential consumers, what they told us is that it is, my ideal chai, if I get that in the right ambience, then I would definitely come for it. But what most people who had started up in chai at that point of time were looking at chai as a commodity only. We were possibly the first ones who said that, look, chai does not have to be a commodity. Chai does not have to be sold from a small kiosk. Chai can have an experience around it as well.
Yeah.
And when we went and spoke to a lot of customers, those initial customer conversations, one of the biggest things that we wanted to understand from customers is, what is your ideal cup of chai look like? And the response was pretty surprising for us, because every customer had their own definition of an ideal chai.
And by the time the first chai outlet was running.
No. So this is pre-work that Nitin had done.
Yeah.
Right. So talking to customers and asking them, so someone would say, "Mujhe to zyada doodh wali chai achhi lagti hai." Someone would say, "I want a Kadak chai." Someone will say, "I want adrak tulsi." Someone will say, "I want elaichi without sugar." Right? So there was no one size fits all chai which everybody loved. So we said that personalization of chai has to be the core of what we create. So that Meri Wali Chai being the core of core USP of Chaayos, which is actually quite orthogonal to the way that QSRs operate, right? Most QSRs will have a standard 10-15 item menu. वही burger है, वही standard है. It is what is carried on for a very long time. Yeah, but for us the point was that we did not want to have only 5 variants or 10 variants of chai. We said that if we want to make a chai concept that would work outside of home, it has to give the customer what they want. So that Meri Wali Chai being the core of it has also been our biggest problem statement, because now how do I ensure that Bangalore and Koramangala, when you're going to get that cup of chai, it is that right same zyada doodh wali adrak with sugar chai. How can I get that consistently to you? So in that way, that was the core fundamental with which we started. That is still the core fundamental today. And that's kind of we are possibly the only brand who's actually giving that to our customers, that consistently giving you your Meri Wali chai.
Yeah. Does any other food brand have 8,000 varieties of the same product as you have?
Not really.
8,000 is the number.
80,000 is the number. 80,000. So 6 different milk levels, 3 different kinds of chai patti, 15 add-ons, sugar, no sugar. So yeah, all of those permutation combinations from there.
Only I can imagine a mathematical brain could build those, right? 80,000 permutations and combinations for how a chai could be built.
Second interesting thing that was part of the early days of conceptualizing Chaayos was that there is culturally chai is always consumed with some food in the country. Yeah. Now every region has their own kind of chai snacks.
If you go in MP, it's purely
poha, jalebi.
You beat samosa.
Correct. In South it's something else. In East it's something else. So there are so many chai snacks, different kinds of pakoras, a toast, a bun, a biscuit. So we said that it is going to be about chai and snacks. It is not just about the chai. Because that is, the customer will come for the chai and they will stay for the entire chai plus snack experience. So that fresh food being an integral part of the menu, that has been the thing from day one. And that's still very core to us. It's almost like half our revenues come from food. Which is
Bun Maska is the most popular one.
Bun Maska, Vada Pav, Palak Patta Crispies is something that's really a top seller. Samosa Matar Chaat. So we've got a very simple lens. Anything that goes great with a cup of chai, that is going to be on our menu. And that's how we innovate.
Kept innovating over a period of time. Like recently, I believe you launched almond chai, which became my favorite. And my wife and mother used to ask me, कि चाय के अंदर बादाम पड़े हुए कौन पीता है? मुझे अच्छा लगता है तो मैं पीता हूँ. And these guys are giving it. So how did you get this insight to make a almond chai?
Yeah. So almond chai just came from very, we wanted to create something indulgent for the winters, and it was kind of inspired from a rich, indulgent, thick chai with that, winters में dry fruits. You feel like having that. So we keep trying out a lot of crazy combinations. One of our craziest ones, and which is one of my favorite chais, is Hari Mirch chai.
हरी मिर्च हरी मिर्च तो वैसे भी option one of the permutation.
Yeah, it is. But it is something that that not a lot of people try out.
Yeah.
But those who try it out, they actually end up loving it because it's got that really nice punch of the hari mirch that comes at the end.
So this started, right? The first outlet got started.
Yeah.
And you would have got your customer validation.
Yes.
And the first outlet also had all these
Yeah.
80,000 varieties.
So at that point of time, we had 12,000 varieties. We've increased that from 12 to 80.
But at what point of time, right? You said, yeah, my first startup, I had just shut down, right? So you have been in some self-doubt whether I'm a good entrepreneur or whether the market is bad or the timing, right? Some self-doubt would be there.
Yeah.
So ये कैसे लगा कि यार how did you overcome this self-doubt कि ये वाला venture चलेगा? वो बहुत बड़ी चीज होगी, right?
Yeah. Honestly, at that point of time, there was, I would say, looking back now, I would say I was a little bit more naive, and I'm happy that I was a little bit more naive. In my mind, it was very clear. I have given one shot to starting up. I have one more shot that I want to give.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work out, we'll give it a year. We'll give it 2 years. If it doesn't work out, we'll get back to corporate life. Go do an MBA.
Yeah.
So I think that comfort was always there. That what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is this. Worst case scenario is I will learn a lot of things. I will get a lot of exposure, which will help me a lot in life. If it doesn't work out, maybe then I will work for a few years and then I will again come back to it. So yeah, thankfully now that I look back, there was not that much of self-doubt at that point of time. It was actioned into, look, this is the second try, and I have a few months to prove to myself that either this is going to work or then I will be in that. I will conclude that right now I'm not ready to be to be an entrepreneur, and I will come back to it later.
And what was your lowest moment, right? Because it's been a 10-year long journey. What has been your lowest moment in Chaayos?
There have been a couple of times where we have been very close to not having money to pay the next payroll. I think those kind of situations, and that happened once in 2016, that happened once in 2018. I think where you are fighting for pure survival, and there's a chance that what you've spent so many years building up, there's a chance that could not survive. That very thought is so
scary.
It's so scary and so jarring. I think that would be the lowest point, because everything else, I think it just becomes part of the game that there will be, people will leave, things will not work, businesses will like parts of the business will fail. But when you're talking about stores will shut down, all of that is kind of you get accustomed to it, that there will be setbacks. But when you're talking about actual survival of something that you have built with your own hands, it is actually pretty scary to see that.
I think COVID would not have been so difficult, because till the time COVID hit, your online ordering system became so powerful. The stores got shut down, they got converted into from where people can order on Swiggy, Zomato.
Yeah. No, COVID was actually quite difficult. So we went down to about 9-10% of our revenues in the first few months. I think that happened with everybody. What happened during COVID was that a lot of we as a cuisine took a little bit longer time to get our revenues back, because at that point of time, if you remember, everybody had become a home chef and home baker. so people were like, ki chai to bana lenge, we'll order those things that we can't make at home. But yeah, we did a lot of work on the contactless piece, creating awareness around chai delivery, because chai delivery was also still small pre-COVID, but it's massively ramped up over the last 2 years. We've seen great traction, and we hear from Zomato and Swiggy that the kind of repeat behaviors and retentions that we have for this business is pretty much unheard of in any kind of delivery space. Because chai is, once you get used to that comfort of I can get that piping hot chai to me within 20 minutes, it will be delivered to me. you can't let go of that comfort then.
And people, because they're cooking throughout the day, right? A 200 or 250 rupees flask. At least it was the case for us while sitting in Bangalore in lockdown, knowing we can't go out. We used to order chai every 4th or 5th day.
Yeah.
Because 250 flask serves the entire family of 4 to 5
Yeah,
people
correct.
in small cups. And it's a good experience getting something from outside.
Yeah, correct.
Making everything yourself.
Correct.
Right? That there was nothing else to expense on during that time. But you say COVID, you suffered for the first few months, and then for a period of time you got
The
back.
first year and a half of COVID was very difficult. Because we were primarily an offline business. All the malls shut down. People stopped going outside. Cafes again is a very social use case, right? You go with people. So more than 70% of our business was coming from an offline space. So we had to be very, very clear and very, very action oriented when it came to how we go about it, because we did not want to lay off anybody, and that's a decision that we took when COVID happened within the first month, that we're not going to do any layoffs.
And you have enough money back then.
So yeah, thankfully we had raised around a few months before COVID happened.
Okay.
So that little bit of comfort was there. But at the same time, with going from 100 rupees revenue to a 25-30 rupees revenue, and then having the same cost base which was anyway there. So a lot of good work happened by the teams in like maintaining costs. A lot of our team took salary cuts for the first few months, just to help with that survival. And we got a lot of support from all our landlords, who said that chalo theek hai, matlab you give me a revenue share for some time, or you work with a reduced rental. So a lot of support. I think the entire ecosystem got together and understood that we have to support each other and make it work.
If you go back in time, right? You guys had bailed, like till your 5th store, you had only raised friends and family money.
Yes.
Right? And then Leaf Excel from
Yes.
Tiger reached out to you. So how did you sell chai to an investor? That's an interesting story.
Yeah, and actually the interesting part of it is that at that point of time, we were Tiger's globally one of the first offline investments. They've done completely internet investments, right? And we actually, after the entire fundraise process was done, we actually asked Lee that, we get asked this a lot, that why did Tiger invest? Yeah. Why did you invest? And his response was that, I've spent enough time in India over the last 5 to 10 years. And what chai is to India is what coffee is to the West. So if there ever is to become a Starbucks-like brand in the country, it would have to be around chai. Okay. So that was the hypothesis that he had, that it is if there is to be a Starbucks of India, it will have to be around a chai brand.
So you said like within 2 calls, the funding with Tiger happened.
Yeah, it was actually 2 Skype calls. And they move fast. And
it was like 5 outlets that you had back.
We were 7 at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But 7 built with your money and then friends and family.
Yeah, friends and family, yes.
And so you never had a proper angel round?
No, we did. So we had Powai Lake Ventures come in. Zishan was leading Powai Lake Ventures. So we did a couple of small rounds with them. And that was how we got to the 7 stores. For us, that there was always that question of proof of concept, because everybody had seen coffee brands outside. Everybody had seen CCD, barista. It was very normal activity to go out and hang out over a cup of coffee or like go on a coffee date. So that question that but yaar chai hi to hai. Creating that right niche and that right experience कि जहाँ पे भी आप घर के बाहर चाय पी सकते हो, can a Chaayos work in that context from a customer point of view, from a unit economics point of view? वो proof करना was like the first 7 stores for us, and we literally ran those stores ourselves. Like Nitin was the cafe manager of the first store. I was the cafe manager of the second store. used to come in the morning, shutter up karte the, interacted with every single. So we used to be those cafe managers, used to interact with every customer. To our surprise, we saw that, there were customers who were coming to us 3-4 times in the same day because they got so addicted to the chai. That's when we knew that the repeat behavior in a chai kind of use case is going to be very big. And that's why we went very deep into we won't go into too many cities. We don't want to open 20 cities. We would rather be in Delhi NCR, continuously penetrate. So Cyber City only has like 5 Chaayos, right? So that just kind of gave us that confidence that yes, this is a high frequency use case. It's a high density use case. Wherever a cup of chai can be served outside of home, we can be present there.
And tell me this, right? You went really deep into 7 cities. The first 3, Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore, rather than spreading wide. So which kind of brands, in your opinion, should go deep and which should go wide? You're talking about offline kind of.
I think if there is a possibility to go deep, you should only go deep. Like I was telling a friend of mine, he used to lead marketing for us. He's actually running a startup which is in like a domestic health space. I told him if it's possible for you to just pick Golf Course Road as your catchment and then just make sure that every single house you are able to penetrate that, you will get much better unit economics. You will get much better network effect. Everything becomes better when you're going deep, right? So proving concept at a particular space, if there is enough customer base who's relevant for you, and if it's a high enough frequency occasion, you don't have to go broader than that. The only place where that doesn't work is where you're talking about being in a space where it is kind of the winner takes the market. Right. So for example, an e-commerce cannot work like that.
Yeah.
Now, Flipkart could not have said that, look, I'm only going to deliver to Bangalore, because that's by nature, it is a business which requires you to deliver everywhere. Right. So I think as far as possible, picking one small market to prove whether it works for you, whether it doesn't work for you. And it should be a very simple captive market. For us, that first market was building 5 Cyber City. It is a set of 3,000 people who are in that building, who are coming daily. It's not that did I do the right marketing, did I pick the right location? None of that matters. It is just on the basis of product that the customer will either accept it or they will reject it. And they accepted it, and we saw that we started to see crazy high frequencies in that one store. We realized that we are onto something now.
And what advantage? Because the hypothesis can also be reversed, right? If I have to play devil's advocate, that by opening a new store in a new locality or a new city, you could tap into a much larger audience. Here, if you keep on opening one store within the same set of 3,000 audience, you are only tapping into those 3,000.
Yes. See, it is always pragmatic that you don't want to over penetrate.
Yeah.
And that completely depends on the kind of customer model you have, right? If that customer model is a very big 5,000 square foot store, then possibly you can't make 5,000 square foot stores in you can't have 10 such stores in Gurgaon.
Yeah.
So it's actually like the business model is the number of customers multiplied by the frequency, multiplied by their average order value, which is the kind of business that you're going to get in a year.
Yeah.
If that works at a unit economics level, then you can decide how many stores are relevant for it. The idea is how many customers can you reach within that particular space, and what kind of frequencies can you get from that customer.
So India loves chai, right? That is the thesis that you started on.
Yeah.
Right. We have been primarily a chai country throughout India, right? From north to south.
Yes.
So what are your other insights, right, on what India loves?
So I think the biggest insight that we have realized over last few years is that two things, right? One is that India as a country is becoming more and more aspirational. We now have exposure to a lot of things through social media. What is happening globally? What is trending? We aspire to a better lifestyle. We aspire to prove ourselves, right? The kind of level of hard work that you see in the Indian context versus say a developed economy. I can safely say that compared to my time in the US also, people work much harder. People have much higher aspiration. So that aspiration to experience new things, to travel more, to live a better lifestyle, that is definitely a trend that's definitely showing in the consumer space. The second interesting thing is that, as a country, we are way more confident about ourselves today than we would have been 20 years ago. 20 years ago, if someone had said that, I will go out and I'll sit in a cafe and I'll drink chai, maybe that would not have even been like something that people would have thought about. It would have been that, coffee is cool right now. It was that.
People would have mocked somebody who was drinking a chai, 100 rupees chai in a cafe.
Yeah, but I think there is now a lot of confidence in our culture, and that's clearly reflecting the kind of growth that we are doing as a country, and our own confidence in our culture. It is something that these are two trends that are really important from a consumer brand point of view, be it an offline brand, be it an online brand.
So just repeating, the first you said is India is becoming more and more aspirational every year. And how do you summarize the second one?
Second one is that there is a lot more self-confidence in Indian culture. So there is a lot more confidence in being Indian, in wearing that on your sleeve. Than there was maybe 20 years back, where we were more aping the West and we were saying that, look, this is cool here, so I just want to copy what the West is doing.
That's why people are comfortable drinking kullad wali chai.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah, we are getting more comfortable with our own roots.
Yeah.
And that now shows.
And people are comfortable having business meetings in Chaayos. They would have demarcated.
Correct.
For business meetings, it's Starbucks. For personal meetings, it's Chaayos. But it's not the case, right?
Yeah.
They're having business meetings. They're going with their laptops, their colleagues, getting out of Chaayos. That's fantastic. What are the other things that you think, right? The Indian customer, right? You talked about Indian customer aspirational. What are the other things they're aspirational for? Like, for example, consumers saying, I want, right, a better lifestyle, a better car, right? I want a better house, right? So you must be building your products, you must be expanding based on more of such insights.
Yeah. I think, like you said, right, these are the most obvious ones. Car, home. People want to travel a lot more. People want to experience a lot more. What they see on the internet, what they see on social media. They want to travel a lot more within the country, outside of the country. So more experiences, more kind of. We'd done a small research and it came out that the current generation is a generation of maximizers, right? They want to maximize every moment that they're living. So when you talk about that, like YOLO is the word for it. So like, you want to really maximize each day. You want to get the most out of every moment. That kind of translates into that how can I give an experience that you would want to talk about, that you would take back with you, that you would remember. It's not just about that one cup of chai. It is about everything around it. And one other trend that I've seen personally, that COVID and a lot of work from home has made us very comfortable with ordering food at home.
Yeah.
Or with just being comfortable being at home. And I think the number of times that we used to go out before versus what we do now, that has definitely come down. So I think, what are people actually coming out of home for? People are coming for those experiences.
Yeah.
They're coming for those things that cannot be replicated with just a home delivery, right? So say if you look at it in a retail context, people will come to a mall because they want to touch and feel those clothes, whereas a lot of them would be available on a Myntra or somewhere else. But what is that touch and feel experience that you can create? And especially in the context of a cafe, how can you create the entire ambience and the vibe and you know how can you create that service and the connect with the customer, that people will say that, look, I felt really happy and relaxed after coming here, and they take back more than just the transactional chai pee li, pakoda kha liya, but that's not just it. It is much more.
Yeah. I remember while growing up, right? I'm talking about, let's say, 20 years ago. As a family, we used to travel once a month, let's say, to eat outside.
Yeah.
And that was such a big thing.
Such a big thing.
Eating outside, right? And today it's become very normal. Like we eat outside maybe once or twice a week.
Correct. Correct.
Right? So the way that India has changed, and that's why we have seen like plethora of like consumer F&B and retail brands like making their presences, and I think the experience that they want to provide to Indians now is nothing less than in developed markets.
Yeah.
And Starbucks charges the same in India as they do in any other geography. Like it's $5 in US, it's 400 rupees in India. So that means the paying capacity is still there in India. And people want to experience the best, and they don't shy away from paying the price for it.
Absolutely.
And there was the initial notion, right, and which VCs had a bias for, I remember, that Indian consumers don't pay. India consumer paisa nahi deta, so you can't charge them for X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Which all myths are getting broken down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, see, that is the most easy approach to take. Sasta kar do. Right? That's the first thought. Discount kar do, 50% off de do. Yeah, you know, we've also of course, you know, being in this space, being in chai, it's a natural question that we get asked also, and we asked ourselves also ki matlab, are we able to deliver the right value for money at the price we are charging, or would we become much bigger if we were, would we become more relevant for a lot more people if we were priced cheaper than this? But at the end of the day now, I think it has to be looked at as the entire experience. It has to be about the value. So like you're saying, no, that you know, people are willing to pay money for the experience. That's very true, and for the younger generation, it's actually even more true. That shayad college mein hai, they will want to go out that one time to the best bar, the most happening bar, and they will spend money there, and they will not do that, and then maybe some of the other meals they would end up ordering things which are much more economical, or going to a food court. Yeah. So I think that balance is there.
When you started Chaayos, right? So were you worried that log Chaiwala kahenge?
Sorry?
When you started Chaayos, you were worried that कि IIT से पढ़ा हुआ हूँ, ठीक है, कंसल्टिंग में काम किया है, और तब तक स्केल नहीं किया था, राइट? एक आउटलेट था कि लोग चाय वाला कहेंगे.
No, not at all. I think there is absolutely no disrespect in that. And for us, again, you know, like I said, the ability to create impact, that is the reason that both me and Nitin had from day one. We were like, ki if a big pizza brand or a big coffee brand can be at 1,500 to 2,000 stores, chai should be much more.
So you had always this aspiration, even from the first floor, that
we had it from the first conversation that we had, that you know, if we are not able to get to this kind of number, we are not doing justice to a product like chai. And we are also very clear that while it is very difficult for an Indian brand that is selling a Western food or a Western beverage, for an Indian brand it is much easier to go outside of the country also. Why should a Chaayos not exist in a London or in a Dubai or a Singapore or a New York, right? Because there is so much acceptability of tea, chai culture, lot of acceptability of Indian foods, Indian snacks. But no brand has really been able to do justice to that. So we felt that, we have a shot at doing that. We still do.
So one thing which is very difficult to scale, you have 200 stores right now, right? Whenever a customer enters every store, entire staff says, "Welcome to Chaayos." How did you replicate that, right? It's very hard to build.
I don't think there's a silver bullet for anything. It is just culture and just doing it day in, day out. Just you know, our training team invests a lot of their energy. Our operations team is actually called as our brilliant customer experience team. We actually call them as BCX. We don't call them operations. So they know that is why they exist. Yeah, it's just a lot of operational hard work and just day in, day out, building those culture, building those processes.
And how big is the team which sits out of HQ and which is at the store?
We're about 150 people here. And overall, we are 2,000 plus people now.
And they are all fully employed?
Yes, fully employed on our roles.
Wow. Yeah. That's quite a lot of rigor that you have to drive.
Absolutely. And attrition is very high in this industry. At the bottom of the pyramid, people just quit for small amount of money.
So being a server, you are aspirational, as we talk. Young India aspirational. So you want to have a better lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. So being able to connect their aspirations, their growth journey, and the personal connect with the brand, that's something that we work on. And the longer a team member actually spends in our system, the better they get culturally integrated. So when that person becomes a manager of a store, they know, they've done that work with their own hands. So that growth from the lowest level team member to the manager and area manager, we really believe in a internal growth pipeline. Majority of the people who are in our system, in fact, we do this cafe managers conference every quarter, and I think about 70-80% of people who are part of that actually come from within the system, which is something that we are very proud of.
And your customer loyalty is pretty high, right? What you did innovation on, which was not needed, right? On placing a tablet where people place their order, right? There's no other way to place an order. Yeah. And every 6 chai is free, I believe, today. So that's amazing, right? Because even as a customer, I get the same respect when I go for a free chai. Right? The staff doesn't say, this guy has placed 0.
Correct.
Right? It's just tough to build that. I have not seen it anywhere. So you are, I believe, innovating on small things a lot, right?
It is a lot of small things. It is a lot of rigor. These things are not, it's not about process. It's not about that, I just created a strategy once and then everything will happen automatically. One of our biggest realizations when we were scaling up initially, when 2015 we were at 7 stores, we realized that, while we had an aspiration and we saw enough demand potential to go up to, say, from 7 to 50. But what we realized was that when we started to ramp up our number of stores, this is a very offline, store by store people business, and the kind of culture that is needed to be able to run a new store, you can't do that. You can't just buy that culture. You can't just get a completely new team and then expect them to behave like that. So that cultural integration was something that we realized is very, very important. We now actually have a Chaayos Academy also. So new team members who come in, they spend 7 days, and the primary objective is that how do you get culturally integrated into what Chaayos is all about and what the Chaayos way of customer experience really means.
Which are the brands in India that you look up to, right? Because Indian brands have captured Indian consumers by emotion rather than any other, right? For example, at Maggie, it was Meri Maggie.
Yeah.
Right? Cadbury's Dairy Milk, kuch meetha ho jaye. Yeah. Which these brands are not doing. Nestle is not doing anywhere like this kind of campaigns. Cadbury's is not doing it. Yeah. So which are the brands that you see and why you look up to them?
So one brand I really look up to is Lenskart.
Yeah.
I think phenomenal brand, have been able to create something which was just a mere prescription product into a fashion product. And people now buy multiple frames a year. It's almost become like a shoe or a t-shirt, right? Yeah. You change your frames. And the kind of scale up that they've done and the kind of experience and back-end integration, I think really phenomenal work done by Amit, Piyush. They're also good friends. Second brand that I really look up to, I think Cult has done something which is really, really good. Been able to own a lot of that entire fitness space. And when it came up, it was almost like, there was no real integrated brand around fitness.
Yeah.
They've been able to do a really good job of that. I really look up to people who are able to create something which kind of creates a new culture, which creates a new way of consumers.
Which is not
purchasing.
even tapping into their existing habits, which are creating new habits.
Which are creating new habits and building brands from scratch where customer feel like they're part of a community.
Yeah.
There are brands like a Royal Enfield that is literally like it's a tribe, right?
It's a very proud owner, right? Royal Enfield's owner.
Yeah. So I think if a customer feels that, I would love to say that I am associated with this brand, I think then you've done a good job of it.
Among these brands, right? If there's a common secret recipe of how they did it, can you share it in your understanding?
My understanding of it, I think it's based on a few fundamental customer insights and how the Indian market also works. So, like I said, right, like Indian customer is aspirational. So say if I talk about a lens cart, and again, this is coming from my understanding, it could have just been another set of spectacles, right? But with the kind of range that they have, the way they communicate, the way they make their stores, it is cool, right? And that's why the youth is more attracted towards it. And the entire, buy one get one free makes you try out new frames.
Yeah.
Makes you create that kind of a
one frame for office, one for home.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. And then that those kind of giving the right value for money while making it aspirational. Because when you go into that value for money route, you can say that great example is airlines, right? There were a bunch of low cost carriers before who did such bare bones stuff. It would have been like, you don't feel proud to be associated with that brand. Yes. And then Indigo came in, and Indigo just kind of changed the game. They made it such a cool brand, such a cool experience, and like efficiently very good, did the job, and yet cheap, right? So I think value for money with the right aspiration, that's the key to India, right? There is no other way to scale. Either if you're too expensive and you're aspirational, then you'll be catering to a niche set of customers. If you're value for money but you don't have that aspirational quotient or that cool quotient, I mean, somebody cooler will come along and then will end up taking that market.
You are an avid reader,
right?
So how many books you would have in your library at home?
In my library, I would have about maybe 200-300 odd.
So I would have 500, but it's collected for the last 10-15 years.
Correct.
Right. So I had a simple rule, right? My first job was 28,000 rupees. So 2,000 rupees from that, back in 2011, right? I was working in Gurgaon in Amdocs.
Yeah.
That was 2,000 rupees from that had to be for books, even if I don't read them. And then a simple rule that if I'm buying 10 books and I read only one, then the buying is justified. That's the explanation that I give to myself for spending on books.
Yeah.
Right? So how has your journey been with the books, and how have the books shaped you as a better founder?
Yeah. I think earlier I used to read a lot more of fiction, pre starting up. Now, over the last few years, I've been reading primarily two genres. One is biographies.
Okay.
So say from a Warren Buffett to a Jack Ma, or say, I recently read the biography of Genghis Khan. That was that was so mind blowing that in that era, how like a lot of the systems systems and culture and legal politics, how that is actually descended from there. So that gives you perspective on I would rather read about people than read gyan about what to do, like more of self-help. The second thing which I really like reading about is consumer behavior.
Okay.
So there's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman, very very good insights on how people behave.
On best book on biases.
Yeah, biases, correct. And then there was another book by Daniel Kahneman called Noise. There's a book called Thinking in Bets, which is by
Annie Duke.
Annie Duke. So very interesting perspective on how how people take decisions and you know how life is actually more like a poker game. So I think as a founder, it is all about understanding people, which is either understanding consumer or understanding your own team better. So I really like reading on consumer behavior
or
and
understanding yourself, why you are taking what decision you are taking, right?
Yeah.
Is it coming from which side of you? Is it emotional? Is it logical?
Yeah.
Because as a founder, you are taking so many decisions.
Absolutely.
Right, and sometimes you don't have anybody to question.
Correct.
To you. And right now, which would be your favorite book? Let's say if somebody wants to build a D2C brand or a favorite set of books, what would you advise them to first go through in there?
I think Ben Horowitz, Hard Thing About Hard Things. I think that's a game changer book.
Yeah.
Very, very hard hitting and just tells it like it is. I think important for anybody who's getting into the startup world that it's a tough life, boss. It is not an easy life, and it's a commitment that you are making to yourself that if you want to create something valuable, it is going to take maybe 10 to 20 years of your life.
Especially in India, right? I think that was written in American context, but more applicable to Indian context, because as a founder, what I say is you subject yourself to a pressure cooker, right? You yourself willingly put yourself in a pressure cooker, and you don't know, right, when it will end. People see all glamour, funding news.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows, right, what's going on in that.
Very true. Very true. And I think a lot of people get into startups thinking that
it's cool,
that I want to be my own boss, and it'll be a great thing. I will work according to my own time. Yeah. I'm anyway working so much in my life. But it takes a different level of resilience to be able to get through this, and it is not a 1 year, 2 year journey. That is something that people should be very clear about. In fact,
at least a decade.
I just tell everybody who I end up meeting, young entrepreneurs, I'm like, you take the leap. Be very clear that this is going to be a 10-year journey to create something valuable. And 10 years might be like the minimum. Yeah. I don't think anybody has just gotten into a startup 3-4 years, built something and walked off into the sunset. I don't think it works that way.
What would be things that you regret during the Chaayos journey?
I think we did a lot of things ahead of time. We could have been more focused, the right focus on doing lesser things and just doing those more and more. So for example, we had developed our chai bots, Chai Monk, right? Before we rolled it out to our stores, we said that, look, this is a great business model that can go into offices also. Yeah. So we started to set it up in offices. But this was not an automated machine, right? It was a man plus machine. So we had to set up a kiosk and there used to be a person there who used to serve it. Unit economics never worked out. Yeah. So we could have deployed Chai Monk at each of our stores. We delayed that by a year and a half because we saw another revenue opportunity. And unfortunately, that revenue opportunity didn't pan out really. Yeah. But then what the core business was, that actually suffered because if that energy had been put in there, would have been much easier to do that. That's one example. There are other examples also. So I think we've been distracted by some opportunity more easily than what we should have been, and it's a learning. I would not say it's a regret, but yeah, more focus on those right things would have definitely helped.
Because if you don't do it right, that will always be that shiny thing that hangs, and you will always say, why I should not do it right now rather than 2 years later.
Correct. At that point of time, it's always that FOMO that wow, this could be the biggest thing ever, and this could change the game for us.
This could expand the TAM, target addressable market, by 2 times. Absolutely.
And an idea on paper always looks more amazing than an idea once you've actually executed it. I think that's a learning that I've had, that the thing you are working on will always look more difficult. No, the thing you're working on right now, which is the current business, will always look more difficult because you can see those challenges on ground. something on paper which could be a new business, you'll never see the challenges. You'll always see the upside of it.
For example, today you know all the challenges of starting and scaling Chaayos.
Yes.
10 years back, if somebody would have come and told you, see, this is all that you're going to go through, you would have thought, I would have started another tech company maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, you can never see those challenges.
Yeah, you can never see those challenges, right?
Yeah.
Especially, right, as I say, right, a tech company, you don't know the, like, any entrepreneur who sees tech, right? They only see the shiny things.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said that, look, would I start a tech company? I think tech company would have its own set of challenges. 4 years, 5 years into building that, I'll be like, acha, ab ye to ho gaya hai, but you know, maybe profitability is more of a concern, or maybe a lot of competition for the same customer is a concern. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Raghav. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for so many insights.
No, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you.